Hey guys, everything new under the sun here. This article is from InfoWars, and take InfoWars for what it is, I guess. But panicked elite buying bomb-proof luxury survival bunkers to escape civil unrest and disasters. And this article is from yesterday, the 13th. Underground shelters protect high net worth individuals from general public. Panicked members are buying underground bunkers. The company behind the construction of the sprawling complexes, Vivos, says the facilities are for the protection of high net worth individuals in the event of apocalyptic-style scenarios, during which millions will perish or worse yet struggle to survive as victims. Where will you go when pandemonium strikes? Asks promo for the luxury shelters. The biggest facility, called Europa 1, is located in Germany and is one of the most fortified and massive underground survival shelters on Earth, deep below a limestone mountain, and is safely secured from the general public behind sealed and secured walls, gates, and blast doors. Journalist Lynn Paramore said she also visited another site in Indiana, which is a former Cold War communications facility. Built during the Cold War to withstand 20 megaton blast, within just a few miles, this impervious underground complex accommodates up to 80 people for a minimum of 1 year. And usually when I talk about preparing and stuff, you need to be prepared with food and water for up to 3 months, because that's probably the length of time when, if the fiat currency resets, if the economy resets, then bank machines will be down for a number of weeks, and there'll probably be shortages in food supply and that sort of thing, for up to 3 months. I don't know if you need to plan for a year, but it's never bad. The more preparations you have, the better for any sort of emergency. It doesn't matter if it's a world-ending, economic collapse or a war. It could be just be a hurricane where power is down for a number of weeks, and the more food you have, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to stretch that over a year. Maybe you can share that with neighbors and friends, so that the bigger the stockpile you have of preparation stuff, the better you can assist your fellow humans as well. The main selling point of the facility, which is a safe distance away from the New Madrid fault line, and therefore a good highway to escape a tsunami type event, you go underground and it feels like a very nice hotel. This is for wealthy people who are concerned about various disaster scenarios, but a common theme among them is a fear of civil unrest. As we reported last week, the article says millionaires are fleeing Chicago and other major cities due to concerns over racial tensions and rising crime rates. And that is because the economies in Chicago and such, and all sorts of things going on. About 3,000 individuals with net assets of $1 million or more left Chicago in the last year alone, just Chicago. According to the Chicago Tribune, Paris and Rome are also seeing mass exodus of millionaires, while wealthy elites are also installing panic rooms in their big city apartments due to fears over civil unrest and skyrocketing crime. Land and remote homes in places like New Zealand are also popular with the global 1%, while realtors citing the threat to the world's financial instability, and domestic disorder as motivating factors behind the purchases. I think the best thing to do, even better than getting a bomb shelter, and more accessible for the common person, is to simply move to a rural area where you can have chickens and pigs and livestock and grow some things, where you have access to water that is not on public utilities, where you have room to do stuff without a whole bunch of people all around you all the time, like in a city, where there's a certain population density, where you have room to do stuff. And if you're out in a rural area, you're not going to have hordes of hungry people necessarily that would be crammed into a city where the food would run out very fast, coming out to see you very quickly. It would take them a while to get there if they were walking, if the gas was gone or something. And a rural area is usually better for bartering, trading stuff. In the event of an emergency, you can trade food and assets, whatever. And it's generally a better location to be able to do that And you generally also know your neighbors a bit more in the rural areas, so that in time of trouble, you can all share resources and help each other. It's just generally, it's just one of the ways to get prepared for any event, being off the public utilities as much as possible. Not off grid necessarily. I'm not off grid, but being out there in the rural area where you have a bit more area to manage and survive on your own or with your family. That I think that's better investment than a bomb shelter, where you have to have all your stuff stored. You don't necessarily have room to grow anything. You have to have gas stored up and all this kind of stuff. I think it's easy enough just to have a patch of land. As long as you have a patch of land, you can make shelter. You can grow stuff. You can live on that land. Whereas with the bomb shelter, they're going to run out of food and whatever eventually. If you have that money, I guess go for it and spend it. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But it is interesting that a lot of the rich people, and I believe it. I believe they're going out there. They're getting worried about things, and they know that if the economy fails, there's going to be civil unrest because the supply lines to the grocery stores are gonna stop real quick, and there's only about a couple of days worth of food on the shelves at the store. So when a fiat currency reset, economic collapse does occur, this is going to come down on us real quick, and so you need to be prepared one way or another, whether you're going to buy a bomb shelter or simply just doing things like they did 70, 80 years ago, which is grow some of your own food. What little, stock up on some seeds, so that if you had to grow your own food, you'd have a bit of a seed bank there to do it, to start yourself off. Have a couple of chickens in your backyard. They're great for eggs and meat as well. So those sorts of things, simple things, and they're great wholesome hobbies as well. So I'll leave it there. But I just thought that was interesting, and more confirmation that the smart money is aware that something could happen real soon, real quick, related to the economy, and civil unrest is a very real potential issue, especially in the big cities like Chicago, where if you ran out of food, man, there would be gangs roaming around looking to steal whatever anybody had. So that's a great reason not to be in the middle of a city.